Hi, friends. My name is Simplicity, and welcome to Project Eden's Garden, the Chapter 1 trial. I'm still flabbergasted from the last episode, and I just want to say, as we dive into this, that, as I mentioned before, my top suspects are Ingrid, Diana, and did I say Grace and Toshiko. I guess those four. Those are my suspects. Also, I don't know for certain that we are going to get to the whole trial. I think I could be wrong. I follow Weeby News. Is that her name? I think that's what it is. On YouTube, love her. She's amazing. She's been doing Danganronpa content for a long time, and she streamed. As of me recording this, she streamed the entire trial like a day or two ago or something, and I didn't watch any of it. But when it was done, I saw how long it was, and it took her like over 7 hours. And I don't have that much time right now, unfortunately. So, what we're definitely gonna get to, presuming that there's an intermediate period, intermission, then we'll get to that. If there's not one, then we'll just go a few hours, stop at a point that feels decent. But we're definitely not going to get through the whole trial. If we do, I'll be impressed with myself, but that most likely won't happen. But here we go, shall we? Taking a deep breath, I approached the opening in the tree and descended into the darkness. Look at them again. We've seen this once already. I don't remember where Wolfgang was standing, but bro ain't here now. That's wild. So yeah, Diana, Ingrid, Toshiko, and Grace. We'll see what happens though. It was the same. The same elevator, the same slow churning of metal and echoing sounds of clunky machinery. And yet, something was different. Someone was gone. Someone who I never held in high regard. But it was still a person nonetheless. A person with feelings, a person with aspirations, a person with a family. A person who I will never hear speak again. Not a single word. RIP. Genuinely, like I said before, the last person I expected, honestly. Am I ready for this? Probably not, but what can you do, you know? What was what I did during the investigation the best I could have done? I mean, with the time you had, I'd say yeah. Will it be enough to carry me through this trial? Will it be enough to lead me to Wolfgang's killer? I just can't believe he's dead, bro. I am under the impression that even though it could, like, I think this will go one of two ways. Either it was very intentional. Someone has a secret or whatever they need to get out, right? Because of this secret. And Wolfgang was the obvious choice because he is the ultimate lawyer. He would be the biggest threat in the trial. Like, something like that, right? I think the other option is that Wolfgang was going to try and kill someone, and he got killed first. I think it'll be one of those two, but who knows? I won't know until I do it, until I face this trial head on. There's no way I can place my faith in the other people here. RIP, bro. There's no way they'll come to the correct conclusion. Oh my gosh, get off your effing high horse. You're not him. Our survival depends on me. Bro, he's a pisshead. Don't judge me, but bro's being annoying as hell right now. The elevator began to slow, snapping me back to reality. Exactly, get your head out of the freaking clouds. I adjusted my tie instead of tall, and when movement stopped completely, the doors in front of us opened.
Rise and shine.
Somebody call an ambulance. I think I've caught a case of deja vu.
Isn't this lovely?
Feels like only yesterday we were playing detective with the corpse of a crime scene. Wait, I probably read that wrong, whatever. My, how... Insociate? I don't know. And chipper so many of you used to be.
How interesting.
After all that back and forth over a simple whodunit mystery, I'm truly curious what today's trial will yield. Just to remind myself, oh, he's so beautiful. So glad he's not dead. If he's the killer, there's no way. I mean, I'm not sus of him, but our names are on the podiums, right? Eager to start, are we? Yes, to find your podium, just look for where your name is written.
The show must go on.
Come on now, hop to it. I'm so excited I can barely wait a second longer. I really don't want to do this.
Oh, crud.
We gotta do as he says, though. Otherwise, the enforcer lady might get mad. Grace, bruh. They really had to show her, huh? Knowing we were powerless to disobey Tozu, we began to disperse and locate our podiums.
Hey.
It's okay, everyone. If we work together, we can... Girl, you were just a second ago saying, Killer, come forward. Just tell us who you are. I'm gonna be real. She's just making herself out to be even more sus. I don't think it's her. I think she's a red herring. But I also think she's not helping her case.
We can't give up.
Right, guys? If we work together, we can solve this case. So come on, let's do this for Wolfgang. Although her words elicited nods from the other students, the expressions on their faces told a different story. It was an expression I couldn't help but feel conflicted over, in a moment where I shouldn't have been focusing on my feelings. An expression of unmistakable fear. Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, yo. There they are. For days now, I've been angry over the mock trial. Look at them. They did such a good job with this. Angry at how much people resented me for telling the truth, how they twisted my words and assumed my intentions. I mean, you made your intentions pretty clear, Damon. I'm gonna be real. I'm angry, but that didn't mean I wanted to be right. Okay, I would have been happy for reality to prove me wrong, but I can't read, y'all. I'm so sorry. I would have been happy for reality to prove me wrong, for no one to buckle under the pressure of the killing game. But good endings like that only exist in stories. Reality was apathetic to what we wanted, and the events of today proved we were at its mercy. Rip, bro. That's a fat rip. So I stood there at my podium, conflicted. Also, even though I guess that's more just black and white, the colors are kind of reversed. In the normal games, the red usually signifies who's gone. So that's interesting. To think this tragedy could have been avoided had people just listened to me. See, and this is exactly why I don't like you. You don't simply have the solution all on your own, Damon. You're not him. But who was it that encouraged everyone to turn on me? Oh, and so you're saying that's the reason he died? Who was it that encouraged everyone to trust each other? If Wolfgang hadn't been so naive, if he'd just told people to protect themselves rather than each other, then maybe he would still be here. Yeah, Damon, that is one of the most cynical mindsets I've ever heard. That's wild. Regardless, I can't let myself be consumed by the what-ifs. You kind of are, though. I'm gonna be real. You kind of in your head a little bit, Damon. Although the others may have failed at preventing Wolfgang's murder, I, at the very least. Oh, and so now you're casting blame on literally everyone else but yourself. Wow, can solve it. Okay, sure. I'll uncover this killer, let them face the consequences of their actions. Well, sure, but you just said that they did it because of Wolfgang. Bro is so unclear. I'll solve this case and survive. Good for you, Damon. Bro, yes, I'll save my game. Oh, I could have stopped here last time, but it's fine. We'll overwrite this. Here we go. Should we take a moment to look over our truth bullets? Oh, there's a lot. Here, we'll start at the bottom. So, oh, it looks like it's in alphabetical order. Wolfgang's neck, yep. And there was a mark that I think could have come from like a needle. Tozu tablet, we know that he died at the same time of the power going out, which insinuates he died when the generator blew up. Also, is my volume too high? It was a little bit. Okay, Toshiko's fetch quest. This was when she went to go get medication from the, not the lab, pharmacy for Ingrid. And she encountered Wolfgang in the hallway, which was a big deal. And he lied. We know. Thin piece of metal. Bobby pin, obviously, is what that is. I will say, having thought about this more after the last episode, the only character that I see using a bobby pin, like, initially is Diana, which does not help her case. Taser gun, that's right, and there was something about the taser gun that Desmond was going to tell us. I don't know what it means. Suspicious note that was done in bad handwriting. I mean, that was something that Damon said when he picked it up. It doesn't say it here, which to me doesn't bode well for Ingrid. The storage closets, that's right. There were different storage closets. One of them had a generator, and one of them had the steel rolling pin as well. If it's steel, and this is something else I've realized, is it's a cooking item. It was not covered in dust, they said, which insinuates that it didn't come from the kitchen. But if it's made of steel, I wonder if would a blacksmith have use of a steel rolling pin? That's my question, which doesn't help Ingrid either. Shrapnel, I mean, I can only presume that this would have been from when the generator exploded. The odd smell, that's right, cereal and rubbing alcohol, a chemical reaction. I think this might be in reference to the burns that Wolfgang has, and Toshiko is the only one that we know of, based off of testimony, that went to the pharmacy, especially around the time of death, or before the time of death. So I'm wondering if maybe she went and got this, if she's involved in the murder, or if she's the culprit. Knife, it was floating in the water. This obviously came from the kitchen. My guess is that this is obviously what caused the blood on the floor in the boiler room and in the neighboring hallway. And my guess, and we didn't find a wound like that on Wolfgang, so my guess is that the culprit or someone else was stabbed by Wolfgang with this knife. Whether it was out of self-defense on Wolfgang's part or he was going for the kill, I don't know. Grace's testimony is something that's kind of tripping me up the most. I don't know. I know that, Wolfgang was going to attend the tournament, but had to cancel because he was bedridden with a sore stomach. That's right. Which we think could be a lie based off of Toshiko's testimony. Either Grace was lying. Well, we know that Wolfgang lied at some point, but it's possible that Grace was lying about this as well if she was in the room when he left initially, which is totally possible. Generator, half of the generator, yeah. Okay, so there must have been a bomb inside of it or something. What was it that he had ascertained from the timeline? Generator tournament begins at 9. It was attended by 8 people. Of those 8, 6 competed in the tournament. Kai, me, Jet, Cassidy, Sean, and Grace. The first match was between myself and Kai, but our game was cut short by the blackout. That's right. I remember he kind of was able to determine something from this, and I don't remember what it was. Footsteps, that's right. Kai and Damon heard footsteps, and they presume that the person was not wearing shoes. One thing I didn't do that I wanted to do was look at a model of every character. I did not do this. Maybe I still could. I don't know. Only because I might be able to see, if anyone's wearing shoes that could be easily removed. Or if anyone's wearing shoes that would be difficult to remove. Because I could see that holding relevance with this clue. The extension cord came from one of the rooms, the closets, and it's been burnt at the end and thrown in the water, though I have no idea what it would be used for. One thing that I think it could have been used for, maybe, was to light or trigger the bomb. Maybe that took out the generator. I'm just not entirely sure. That's what I'm thinking, though. Yes. Mark's pad clock basically proves that Wolfgang died pretty much right when the power went out. There were burns that I think came from the chemical weapon. Boiler room doorknob was turned around. I have no idea. Oh, that's right. So this would insinuate that because of the note, Wolfgang could have gone into the room. Someone could have closed the door from the outside, locked them in, and the bloodstains out in the hallway would kind of support this idea because they were just outside of view. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this. Also, even though anyone could have done this, Ingrid doing this makes a lot of sense because she's a blacksmith, right? Yeah, these blood spots is exactly what I'm talking about. The blood spot is kind of like just to the right of the opening in the hallway. So if someone were waiting there to see if Wolfgang was coming, but that would also insinuate that this person had already been stabbed if it was the knife that caused the injury with blood. And if that's the case, that makes me think that whoever it was that got stabbed, whether it was by Wolfgang or not, that the stabbing happened before things happened in the boiler room. The blackout. Yes, basically we know that the blackout only happened in this building, and it did not happen in either the dome with the garden, or like the courtyard or whatever, or the room with the tree and the pharmacy. So those places were fine, but the building we're in was not. And that's it. Okay. So we'll have to see what happened. Oh, wait. I just realized the extension cord could have been used to cause the bruises on Wolfgang's neck? Maybe. I don't know. Let me look at the report card. Oh, my bad. Oh, frick. It's not going to give me a full portrait, is it? Dang. I really wanted to see their shoes. Rip. Whatever, it's fine. We'll worry about that later. I'm wondering if that will come into play, though. That, like, whether or not someone can easily take their shoes off could come into play, you know what I mean? But I think we're going to go ahead and start this. We're going to keep this on kind, because, again, I care more about the story than actually having to put in a ton of effort to learn the story, if that makes sense. So here we go.
Let's get this started, shall we?
Here we go.
Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone.
Thanks, Tozu, you little slut.
Unlike previously, today will be no circus. No mockery woven with stitches and needles.
Reference to the title of the prologue.
A true, fair, and proper trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so...
Who are we standing next to? We are by Ingrid and and Winona, it looks like. Dang, and his portrait's already there, huh? That's a rip.
You must vote for who you believe is the blackened. If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing game experience. However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, or the blackened will be granted release from this academy. Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
Very nice.
Can someone please break this silence?
And it wasn't very long, but okay.
Talk about this.
Wolfgang deserves justice, but putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
It is, you beautiful man.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed.
Nah, you're chilling.
Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Why are you saying that like you've been at a podium before, Toshiko?
Don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this, whatever it takes, no matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
She really developed some type of relationship with him, it seems.
You really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it.
Okay.
How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose? That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line. Is that what you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer? Well,
nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer.
Hey, yo, Eloise has been not taking anything from Grace since Grace low-key started bullying her. Dang! Eloise really said, it could be you, though, so... Hey, yo! Bro, she clocked her.
If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means.
Eloise is not dumb.
For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Hey, yo, bro. Eloise is clocking her.
What the? Are you accusing me of something?
I mean, you are one of the foremost sus.
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
Yeah, I think that should be explored, because I don't think it's Grace. It could be. I don't think it will be, though. So I think her explaining why the frick she's being so suspicious is important.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside.
That's true.
Intentionally or not, it really hindered our investigation.
Period.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented. You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
Bro, they've got a good point. Got him.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
I think girls should dive into this.
She has an alibi, though.
Well, she does have an alibi, but it's still important.
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone, because she went to the game tournament.
Grace attended the tournament?
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Maybe. It gives everyone who attended the game session tournament 100% has more of an alibi than some other people, but I don't think it's impossible. It depends on whether or not the murder was something that was set up. Also, they split up when they went down into the basement into different rooms. It's hard to say.
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like half an hour before the murder.
Can't rule them out.
Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, anyway.
I don't think anyone left.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared,
Yeah,
it would have been obvious.
it would have.
Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot thread resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
Well, just because she has something of an alibi doesn't mean she doesn't know something.
So Jean, Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament.
And me.
And Mark.
And
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
that's true, but she still has information.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
That's an interesting claim to make. Why would we lie about her?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation?
Just about the fact that they had split up.
You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
See, even though this is nitpicky, he brings up a good point. What happened here? Oh, so we're seeing it from Kai's perspective? Damon and me, we just found him like this. Interesting.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
That's true.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs.
That's true, because she said she saw us.
I would know. I saw him.
There was a blackout?
Indeed.
You don't remember?
Oh no, Toshiko was there. For 0.2 seconds, I thought she had been in like the courtyard garden area, and I was like, that's immediately sus. But no, she said that she and Ingrid were together in their room.
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
Bro, no. Why is it that some people can recall a blackout but not others? It's yeah. Thinking back on the testimonies I've collected, I can probably make an educated guess. We already know. Why is it that some people can recall a blackout but not others? Blackout affected one building. There we go.
I got it. The reason not everyone experienced a blackout is because only the building containing our dorms was affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned?
I mean, that was an idea.
Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves.
That's true.
And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets.
Well, Eva knew about it. She told y'all.
Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Right, which means you were not all together the whole time.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones too. Eva and Grace check storage closet A. Jet and I check storage closet B. Damon and Kai check storage closet C. And Jean and Mark check storage closet D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me too.
Not gonna say anything?
We were together.
Okay, I believe them.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Okay, but still, that doesn't explain why Grace was being so protective.
I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder.
Girl.
Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for it!
Girl, your mercy is not required.
Whoa! Uncool, dude.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something about his last known whereabouts.
Absolutely.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
This is true.
Grace and Loya, man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
I investigated Wolfgang's room. I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside.
Well, we knew that they had decided to, spend the night together.
There was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Is it possible? Wait, hold on. Is it possible they switched their nameplates? And that was actually Grace's room? Kind of doubt it. The whole thing, yeah, no, they couldn't have done that. Not in time, anyway.
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilled the beans with you, right?
Why would Ulysses know anything?
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
Oh, Toshiko?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
That's right, not all the women knew. Which is interesting, because I thought Ulysses said he would tell them.
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Well, no, because he's dead, Toshiko,
Let
but...
me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall.
Yes.
Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
For reasons.
You should... Now's the time to share the reasons, Ulysses.
Totally not suspicious.
Right, just say what it
It
was.
was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe.
That's so funny.
I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me, so when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Fair enough.
Plus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
Since the
Nice,
room swap
Kai.
happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half.
True.
Gross.
Bruh, what?
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night.
Yes.
Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point? Like, maybe he said something that stuck out to you, or maybe had trouble getting to sleep.
No. Nothing weird happened last night.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Nothing happened last night, but...
But this morning...
The morning of the murder. This morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Okay, so she's committing to what she told us.
Sick? With a stomach ache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed.
Which, okay, so we know that this is a lie. Whether or not it's a lie made up by Grace or Wolfgang is the
I
question.
was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament.
Toshiko and or Ingrid should say something to this.
So, I left his room right after the morning announcement.
I think she's going to be exposed, because if it was right after the morning announcement, that would have been right around the same time that Toshiko got back from the pharmacy, and that's when they said they saw Wolfgang.
And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
Oh.
What did Grace tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing.
Interesting. So that makes me think that everything Grace is saying is a lie for some
Grace
reason.
knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
She withheld information.
Aye, that she did.
Interesting. Girl, what is up with you?
Since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her.
No. I think it's a lie.
If someone you
Well, we
cared
know it's a
for
lie.
is in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game?
Well, maybe not, but Toshiko and Ingrid know that he wasn't sick.
No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
Yo, Toshiko, you gonna say something?
I think it's obtuse.
Yeah, good on Winona for picking up on it, even without the evidence. She's
Say
smart.
we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What
BS.
should we make up the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
Right?
What the hell do you mean, contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how
Right.
did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Exactly. Like, she didn't even need to know about Toshiko and Ingrid's testimony to know that he made it there somehow.
Good point. If Wolfgang really were bedridden, he would have stayed in his room.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend, like, 4 flights of stairs?
Was it that many?
It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick...
It's not
'Cause he
my fault
wasn't.
it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
It's also, okay, right. That's the other possibility, is that Wolfgang really did just lie to her. She left before Wolfgang left. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
Exactly. Like, just because she's not the killer doesn't mean she doesn't have info.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
Yes, you are, Grace. Come on. Is there more to the story than Grace is telling us? Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. I need to solve this mystery and set things straight. Here we go. Non-stop debate, baby. Game tournament, Toshiko's fetch quest has to be what we're gonna
Tell
use.
everyone the truth, Grace.
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
No.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the...
No.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie
That's
about
what we're
he
agreeing
said.
with.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
Okay, so we're gonna agree with Desmond, my beautiful boy. Yes, let's
Why
go.
don't you tell everyone?
Bro, Winona is her.
I know.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
Maybe Grace has some kind of reason for lying about what Wolfgang said this morning.
How's that not relevant?
How? If anything, telling you the truth is putting my ass on the line.
How am I already almost dead? What?
Why don't you tell everyone the truth?
Hold on.
Grace?
Kozu tablet.
I've got nothing else to explain.
Game
The last
tournament
I saw
timeline.
Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
We would have
Toshiko's
found
fetch
those by
quest
now.
is the only thing that makes
Maybe
sense to me.
Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
Why does Toshiko's fetch
What
quest
if
not?
Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
There's a major discrepancy in Grace's testimony, but is she necessarily at fault for that?
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
I feel like this is the only thing that makes sense. Am I stupid? I have to try this again.
Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Grace he was sick.
Maybe Grace has some kind of reason for lying about what Wolfgang said this morning.
How?
Yeah, I'm gonna die. I'm not really sure.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Maybe the tablet? I don't know.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I
Frick.
wouldn't lie about what
What?
That, or Grace he was sick.
I have no idea.
Grace has some kind of reason for lying about what.
How?
Okay, well, the only other
Why don't you
option
tell everyone
is
the
the
truth,
game
Grace?
tournament timeline, I guess? How does the timeline... I don't understand. This is the only thing I can think of, though.
By the killer.
That, or Grace he was sick.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Grace has some kind of reason for lying.
How?
Am I doing it wrong? Am I supposed to not fire at it in order to agree? I don't understand. Yes, continue. Okay, nice. I needed all that.
Why
I guess-
don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Yeah, this is stupid.
Found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
We don't have anything to
That,
insinuate
or
that.
Wolfgang never told Grace.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if
None of
Wolfgang
none
used
of
the
these
elevator
can...
in the tree?
You're not helping.
The elevator? Is there anything about the elevator?
Why
No,
don't
that's
you tell
completely
everyone
irrelevant.
The truth, Grace?
I've got nothing else to
Man,
explain.
this is why I do it
The
on
last
kind,
I
because I'm
saw
stupid as
Wolfgang,
hell.
He was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
No.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
I don't know.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about.
Maybe Grace has some kind of reason for.
I guess we're just gonna try shooting it at the other things. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Toshiko's fetch quest seems to be the only thing that contradicts Grace's testimony.
Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out.
There's no way it's gonna be this one. We'll try one of the other ones.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by a killer.
What? Oh, okay, I guess I get that's stupid. Because it's like, oh, he wasn't sick, so he couldn't have been carried.
Testimony is inconsistent
That was
with what we
stupid,
found
I'm not gonna
Wolfgang's
lie.
body. But that's not Grace's fault. The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
See, but this is so annoying to me because what Desmond said is more in line with the whole point that we're trying to make here.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
Right, it's almost like that's exactly what Damon just said.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's after I left.
After she left. So she's saying, like, right after 8 then is when she left.
Yes, I remember now. Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication.
Okay.
The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face
with Wolfgang?
Oh, the phone! Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course, he never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm this?
Ingrid?
I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Right.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
Indeed.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
Okay, so we're assuming that Grace left before Toshiko got back.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
Why would Wolfgang go to the boiler room? That I can also answer. It's the note. Yes.
This is it.
Seems like we're making a lot of progress really fast.
I found
Is that just me?
tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink.
Okay.
But some parts are still legible.
Secret, 8:15 a.m. Boiler room, close the door.
This mentions the boiler room.
Indeed it does.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket, it can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
The only other possibility is that for whatever reason, the note wasn't given to him initially, and he took it from someone, but I find that to be unlikely.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfie's reason had something to do with it.
Something to do with the secret.
Agreeing to meet a stranger in some spooky, dark place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
Ulysses, Grace,
I'm not sure that's how it went
do you
down.
remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
Ulysses and Grace.
No. The only time
Oh,
I
yeah.
recall him receiving anything was when Tozy distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick.
Yeah.
Was to remove her from the picture. Yeah. Once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs.
See, this tracks, but the only reason I'm still a little sus is because why did she guard the room?
That's also why he encouraged her.
We still
to
haven't
attend the
answered that.
tournament.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other?
Right.
Are
Oh,
you
oops.
sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace?
Maybe.
Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That's an idea.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
It does.
Not to interrupt, but on the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
That's a great question.
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For that reason, I implore you all to speak with the person whose blackmail you have, and them only. Even if the contents of the envelope seem horrible, give the person a chance to explain themselves.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
Maybe. That's a great idea.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it.
Oh, so he's saying whoever's blackmail Wolfgang had, if that person realized Wolfgang had it. Interesting.
They could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret.
That's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought about
However, if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note.
that. Sure.
Not least act coy about information they both know.
Right.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Maybe. I mean, we know that's not true because it was us.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Maybe, but that's a little strange because we know we have it and we didn't write the note.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Right, that's a great question.
Oh, I've got just the idea. Yo, person who Wolfgang had blackmail on. If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget
Sure.
the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, right.
Bruh.
Him. Hey, person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail. If you're innocent, say something already.
If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I have Wolfgang's blackmail really guarantee my innocence in their eyes? Probably not. If I were him, I would probably still share it, though. That's what I would do. I think transparency is important. I don't know. Although everyone may follow my direction during the trial since they can't ignore the evidence on my side, when it comes to me, of all people, owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all of that? Does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether or not I
was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot. But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Interesting. Eh?
Are you confessing?
Wait.
Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
Nah, not his.
Oh.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
That's hilarious.
However, it's thanks to him that I have my own.
Okay, so he had Jean's blackmail.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it. If you need the proof.
Ah,
There it
Wolfgang's
is.
envelope had the same signature.
I see.
I held on to the letter for safekeeping.
Okay.
This should have all been said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude.
John, I think you're chilling.
My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
I agree.
Truth. Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Nice.
Indeed.
Okay, interesting.
To acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
Okay. If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? Maybe. It's hard to say. Are they going to make me choose? Would they be just as
I
forgiving?
Take our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward.
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
I think that's a great idea.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
I think it
No
is.
one's reciting shit.
Girl,
It was
what?
only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Even if we knew who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his killer. It's annoying they won't speak up, sure.
Dang. Not him speaking for himself in a weird way.
Unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it.
That's true.
This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people, especially now that he's gone.
I think that's a weak argument, because he's gone, and the blackmail is against him, so why does it matter? In a situation like this, I totally understand where he's coming from, but the situation necessitates that he share.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt.
Sure.
If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
Interesting, so Eva's backing us up here.
The cases, or...
Obviously, the case. The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
You certainly talk a lot stranger than you used to, but I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but
yeah,
we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
No, definitely not. Yeah, there was a knife, but he wasn't
When I
stabbed.
was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near him. And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's true.
It's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
No.
The knife was bloody, so...
Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway.
Maybe.
While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
I don't think so.
That would line up with how we found him.
Yeah, but it doesn't line up with... It doesn't line up with the door handle. The killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway, then followed him into the boiler room? No, that definitely did not happen. No, that's not what happened. I need to show everyone where they've gone wrong. But knowing how they want me to do it is different than how I would do it. Blood spots, Tozu tablet, Wolfgang's
really
hands.
How you guys think Wolfgang died?
Could be
The bloody
Wolfgang's
knife
hands.
was way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Yeah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind, and the rest is history.
With that
No.
wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
It all makes sense.
Whatever story they're trying to spin here, it's definitely not the truth. I can conclude as much from the crime scene. Okay, if we're talking about the crime scene itself, my thing is the hands is probably what we want to
Bloody knife was way
use.
too big of a coincidence.
Maybe. I don't know
It
for
was floating in
certain.
the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
And that may have happened, we don't know.
It was probably a sneak attack. The killer behind.
Dang. Of course that's not how we want me to do it.
The possibility of a confrontation.
Well, I'm not saying there wasn't confrontation. I'm saying he wasn't stabbed from behind.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
Okay, maybe the Tozu tablet?
Big of a coincidence. Killer snuck up on Wolfgang.
Okay, there we go.
No, that's wrong.
Because there was nothing to suggest that.
You talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor, but did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
Right.
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured.
Right.
Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds.
Right.
In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss.
Right.
Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Oof.
Hey, man, it's not like I didn't try. It's just... this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
That's valid.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
Not everyone has the stomach for investigating. That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting. Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise, and a tiny red dot.
So he noticed that as well.
His hands were burnt too, so 3 injuries in total.
And that was it. Interesting. So if those are like literally the only injuries, I'm under the impression he died also with the tears and like, he could have been suffocated. That's possible.
Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Sugar high, my dear Wilson. The killer used a flamethrower.
No.
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a flamethrower, I suppose.
Yeah.
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get
Girl.
for vocalizing my thoughts?
Calm the frick down.
Sorry, lass.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said, the burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of corona paralysis.
The frick is that?
Huh? Ooh, now this I know.
I will say, the idea of Ingrid being the killer, but immediately admitting to what the chemical attack could be, actually makes her feel better for me.
Corona paralysis. It's something which happens to lightning strike victims.
Oh, so electrocuted. We're supposing that he was Oh, is it possible? Oh. So maybe it's not necessarily a chemical burn, but it could be that when the generator exploded, the water that he was standing in was electrified, and that's what killed him?
Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
I love John.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next day.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
A big old tree.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
Huh?
Bro is so
We're
confused.
trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
Yeah, but he could have been
Could he not
electrocuted.
have been struck before the killing game?
Bruh.
Fate is stronger than will, you know. Perhaps a deity decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Girl.
Nay.
No.
Those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that.
This obviously came directly from the generator.
If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted, wouldn't it mean Wolfgang somehow went outside?
Right.
Not necessarily.
Under the idea that it was a lightning strike, sure, but that's not how it happened.
This is only something I thought of just now, but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
Sure.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Something equivalent in damage to a lightning strike. The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back on the boiler room and what was inside it, oh, he may have the taser. I forgot about that. So maybe it wasn't the generator, but the taser? That's an idea. Oh, maybe, or maybe I don't know. Right, if I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold some weight. I thought it was gonna be hold on. Oh, frick. I guess we'll do just the generator. I could have sworn he was talking about the taser, but I guess not.
This is it.
Okay. That was my original thought.
Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
Yes, I do. Why?
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Valid?
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief.
Yeah.
What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room.
Right.
Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
I agree.
Did Ulysses say it was destroyed?
Yes.
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed.
Right.
You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
Dining hall people, you were in this building before. Tell us what's going on. Yeah, why didn't you mention? The hell, I never even saw her. Huh, you were there too, bargain bin? The floor below us, that's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
Ava?
I woke up first.
Not Eva, my bad.
Yeah. She did. Anyway, Ava. You
my bad, I've been calling her Eva this whole time.
Condition when we woke up, right?
Right. So in the
Ava.
time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility.
Maybe the generator was destroyed by some type of chemical bomb? Here's my thought process. Okay. With the way they're going with this, my thought is, well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. My thought was, maybe he was standing in the water, and while he was standing in the water, someone shot the taser at the generator, which somehow caused it to explode. That doesn't take into account the extension cord, so I don't know how that would work. But when it exploded, the electricity surged through the water, killed Wolfgang. That doesn't explain the bruises on his neck unless there was a tussle with the extension cord, and that's what caused the bruises on his neck. But what that doesn't explain, like that would have had to have happened in the boiler room. I think. I'm pretty sure. I guess I can't say for certain. There is the vent. Is it... I find it unlikely, but is it possible that someone could have fired the taser from the game room through the vent onto... I don't know. So the reason I'm thinking of this is because right now we have an idea that it's possible that Wolfgang was locked in the boiler room and that the culprit wasn't in there with him. This is because of the switched doorknob. If he was in there alone, it's possible that something was rigged to have the generator explode. Maybe the taser was set up somewhere and it had like a timer on it to go off. So I don't know.
As for what destroyed the generator, Well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Oh. Okay, Winona.
2 things. First, destroyed is overly vague.
Okay.
Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief.
Okay, so burnt, specifically.
Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
Okay, I get
What are you
it.
talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence?
Sure, I see what she's saying, and there's also the taser to take into account.
Finding out a standard shift? If so.
Got him. Damn it, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. Ha! You thought we were the only one with an interjection animation? Think again. I love that. Oh, here we go. Okay. Sometimes a student will dislike your argument so much that they will initiate a one-on-one debate with you. We call this Rebuttal Showdown. During Rebuttal Showdown, your opponent will fling a flurry of remarks at you, and it's your job to counter them. Okay, cycle truth blades, hold it, fast forward, swipe, slow down. So we swipe with D, and we cycle through them with Q. Very interesting. Use the WAS keys to slice through your opponent's argument. Oh, any of them. Okay, cool. Okay, naturally, you will slash in the direction of the button pressed. Oh, I see. So up, to the right, to the left, down. I see. Very cool. Fire truth blades, cycle truth blades. Oh, so I can do it with my mouse as well. Okay. To slice diagonally, simply press 2 keys at the same time. Okay. Be sure to pay close attention to the shape, size, and position of your opponent's remarks, as these will clue you into what direction you should slice. I see. Every time you strike white text, the green side of the screen will shift left to represent your argument succeeding. Likewise, every time you miss white text, the orange side of the screen will shift right to show that your opponent is winning. If you cut through enough remarks, you will advance to the next stage. If you haven't, you'll retreat. If you're somewhere in the middle, you and your opponent will wrestle for control in a short round of crossed swords. In order to gain the upper hand, you must rapidly left-click. Okay. Now to the meat of the duel, truth blades. Similar to non-stop debates, any suspected contradictions will be highlighted in gold. Hold down right-click to slice them apart with a truth blade. Oh. So we swipe with W. Okay, I think I get that. Okay. Of course, don't start slicing the second you see gold. Assess the validity of the mark and check you have the correct truth blade equipped. Now let's not keep Winona waiting any longer. To battle! Okay, I'm going to do this not well, but here we go. Dozu tablet, DJ
While
pad.
The generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping,
I see.
that gives us a period of almost 4 days, in which the generator might have been destroyed.
Okay. Oh gosh. Ooh! Okay, that was easier than I thought. Thank goodness.
What about the blackout?
Yeah.
It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout. If it was already broken prior to the tournament.
Exactly.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after.
Oh, here we go. There we go. Got it. That was lucky timing on my part. We know it couldn't have been.
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament. Mark's DJ pad.
Indubitably.
While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Indeed.
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified.
That was my thought.
Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, you can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened, Annie.
Right, but he needed a reason to be in the water.
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
What? Huh?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder.
No, not necessarily. It could have been a surge of electricity.
Because it isn't even conductive.
It's not?
We don't know that. If it was destroyed...
After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ava approach the pile of boxes and fish out a light bulb. Yep, she threw it in the water. Plop, chucked it in the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes.
Well, just because it's possible for an electric surge to happen, and his body would have taken that electric surge, right?
In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources.
Oh, I get it now. I actually did not know that, to be totally honest, but that's where the taser comes in. So, oh, wait a second. So maybe, I don't know for certain, but it's possible that someone shot the water with the taser while Wolfgang was in it, and that caused the generator to explode because there were two sources of electricity? Maybe?
The boiler room's generator is just one source.
Yeah, but there was a
If you're
taser.
standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Yeah, unless it blew up.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water.
I see. And so, exactly. So, when the generator exploded, the water became conductive.
If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Yeah.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
That's totally possible.
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
Interesting. So it had to have been just the
It
taser?
doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A
Sure.
feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
Sure, unless a student rigged it somehow.
As for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
Right. Is the generator really unrelated to the case? No, it's related. I'm sticking with my idea that maybe someone, like, the taser had to have been a second source of electricity. But the timing of the blackout is too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
It mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room floor.
Indeed.
A toy gun or something. At least, that's how it came across to me.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? They'll shoot electricity!
Indeed they
I'm
do.
not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Hey, Desmond.
The taser was definitely used.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless.
Interesting.
For those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing.
And this one's blast doors were missing.
Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off.
I see.
When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
So it had been shot.
Here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
So that's what that was.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Probably came from Desmond's room.
Huh?
Just think about it for 1 second.
Yeah.
Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment. Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff?
Bruh.
What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Seriously.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
I mean, probably.
Yeah. Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
John, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Yeah.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
Taser. Is there any other talent here that could use a taser for something? I guess I'm not entirely sure. Blacksmithing, maybe, but I don't know why they would use a taser.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
Well, his attempt to feign innocence won't fool me, not when I know the truth. What proves Desmond is lying? His talent, his charisma, his blackmail. Oh, his blackmail?
I got it.
I forgot about that, actually.
The blackmail tools you gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
Yeah, but Ava did.
No, but the person who did informed me of what it said.
With his weapons at hand, Desmond guards the only one he trusts. I mean, I don't know that that proves that he had a taser.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Yeah.
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep. No idea.
That's sus, Desmond.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It
Right.
is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons.
Interesting.
If I
Okay.
did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone.
Diana's very quick to jump to people's defense.
He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Again, I find it unlikely that he wouldn't have known about it himself.
There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Valid.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily?
Yeah, this is
If
Cap.
the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it is
Nah.
just a flimsy excuse.
I gotta disagree with you there, though, Grace. That's some Cap. Toshiko's blackout taser gun.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
That's true. We know that's true.
Attention away from your weapons hoard.
But if this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired?
True.
I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
Absolutely.
I was with Desmond.
I call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpfulness, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
When the murder happened.
Interesting. Is Desmond innocent? I hope so, man. When I compare the evidence to everyone's statements.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
Like a taser gun. Toshiko's fast.
To begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
But
A blackout to agree with
This is about avoiding suspicion.
Eloise?
Why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I agree.
I would...
Yeah, that had to be it. That was the only thing that made sense to me.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder.
Yeah.
Eloise can back me up on this.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
But why would she do that?
If you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
This is the most useful thing that Cassidy has said the entire time.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Yeah, because she
Ever
hates
since
her.
the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working
Yeah,
together.
because you've been sus.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from.
Man, Kai, no, shut up.
When Eloise tried to
Sweet
single
boy.
her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
I mean, I get it, but...
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
Well, but can they vouch that you went?
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him?
Right.
Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
Right.
That's right. And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
Grace, I realize Desmond's irked you, but that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's
Amen.
move on.
Yes. That's a fun perspective.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh?
Hey, yo.
I guess they needed a GPS.
Man, shut up, Cassidy.
Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Maybe.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
Yeah, maybe.
All in a day's work, baby!
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again. But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Someone must have gotten the idea. Huh.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
Why?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings.
Oh, she's insinuating... Well, I don't know about that. She's insinuating that the guys would have known that they weren't staying in Desmond's room, that they were staying in Jean's room. But we didn't know that.
With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd
Right.
be bunking in.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
Yeah, I agree.
Who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Absolutely.
Or while people were having breakfast.
Absolutely.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed.
100%.
Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
Sorry, Ava.
Well,
She's just trying.
Guess this taser gun was a bust.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie.
There's a decent
If
chance.
trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead? You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
It does.
Yeah. Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
Yes.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Want to try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full
Girl.
of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
That's nice,
Okay.
Cassidy.
Let's discuss the bruise first.
Interesting. Steel rolling. Wolfgang.
I
Knife.
think it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
Yep. Known as so done.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight?
Maybe.
Someone might have attacked him
Mm,
and aimed for his neck.
that's possible.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must have hit him.
Probably the steel rolling pin.
Wolfie fell over.
No.
How spindly he is, one tiny misstep could leave the poor fella bruised for days.
Maybe.
Skinny guys bruise easily, eh? Let's see if you're right. Ulysses, fall over.
No, thank you.
Yeah, what the frick? Okay. Something must have caused that bruise on Wolfgang's neck. What could it have been?
I think it's safe to say the killer.
Fight? Someone might have attacked him and aimed for his neck.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way,
There we go.
I got it.
Hi, my boy. Let's go.
Kai's right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
We can presume.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind.
That's nice, Kai.
Anyway,
You bless your sweet
From how
soul.
you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
Kai, we both
A
do.
rolling pin.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
Oh no, that was Ava who was with us when we found that.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
Okay, I mean,
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
no, it was made out of
No.
steel.
There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder. Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Huh. Well, I have to disagree with that because it looked like he was trying to crawl out of the water, so he wasn't unconscious when he died.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
Yeah, but his positioning and the door handle doesn't help with that theory.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser. Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude, especially when governed under constricting pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
Girl, shut up.
Guess it makes sense.
That's some nice words. After shooting Wolfgang with the taser, what was the killer's next move? If I figure that out, I'll be one step closer to solving this case. Something's not right about this theory. Footsteps, storage
So let me get this
closets.
straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into closet A?
I don't know.
When exactly did they discard the pin?
Right, that's
They couldn't have done it
after.
when Eva and I were already downstairs.
Right.
Because the two of us went inside closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember?
Yeah.
And I checked closet B. Damon and Kai checked closet C. Eva and Grace checked closet A. And Jean and Mark checked closet D.
Yeah.
The killer just discarded the pin before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right.
That's possible.
Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
No. Just because the killer placed the pin earlier doesn't mean they left before we arrived. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think it's going to be right at the end that I'm going to use the footsteps to contradict Diana.
Because the killer could run upstairs.
Here we go.
And go back to their room immediately.
Yeah, that made the most sense. No, that's wrong.
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time. When the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
She does not seem happy about that.
Oh man, that's right. We
We
were
did.
just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jet and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
You did?
But Grace didn't?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say I also brushed off the footsteps.
Oh.
Thought I was hearing things.
Okay, well that's good. The fact that both Jean and Ava are saying this, good.
However, since other people can attest to hearing them,
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Absolutely.
If anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running.
Are we sure?
Since everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
Yeah, but
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So,
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Yeah, most likely.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Yeah.
Hold up. So the killer had been right next to us?
That's crazy timing.
Boy, that's a given.
huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Well, they wouldn't have, because that would have given them
Well,
away.
they did it, so I don't see what the problem is.
Sheesh, you're weird.
Yeah, and you're dumb. You're pretty, but you're not the
Why
smartest.
not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
It does.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
That's possible.
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
That's possible.
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
For the two who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
Okay, so she's catching on to the idea that the shoes could be important.
It was kinda socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Socky, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Makes sense.
Because their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
Diana is Omega sus. Bro, if it's Diana, that'd be crazy.
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor.
Right.
Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
What you mean?
What? Oi, are you pulling out leg?
I'm completely serious. Picture a
How
map
so?
of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right.
Okay, so is she going out of her way to basically say, oh, I get what she's saying. She is saying that by nature of where everyone was positioned, there's only so many people it even could be. Namely, it couldn't be anyone who was in the game. That rules out 8 of them. It rules out Ulysses and Winona, who were in the tree room, and it rules out Eloise and Desmond, who were in the dome garden area, which means the only one left is there's 3 people who are left: Toshiko, Diana, and Ingrid. Oh, yeah, those 3.
Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder.
Right. There can only be 3 options.
Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
I mean, once again, there's 3 options, is it not?
Someone whose position we can't place?
Oh, she's saying it's Diana. Because Diana is the only one who doesn't have an alibi.
No.
Technically.
It's not about position.
It's about, yeah.
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder.
Right.
The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
Right. In which case, our killer, yes, that's right, the only one here who can possibly be the killer is you. What? Hold on. This is some cap. You mean to tell me that we're selecting... I've been recording for an hour and 38 minutes. I mean, I know who they want us to choose. They want us to choose Diana, because she's the only one who wasn't with someone else. The bobby pin also doesn't help her case. It could be her. For some reason, I feel like, and maybe it's just because of the amount of time that we've been going, I feel like this can't be the case, but we'll find out. She's the only one, though.
It has to be you!
Diana, it's you, isn't it?
Oh, wait, I could see where they're going with this. Diana might be the one who ran away from the boiler room. That does not, however, mean that she was the killer. It could have still been someone else. That's my guess. I think this is a red herring. I don't think it's her. There's no way. An hour and 40 minutes in the trial? That's some cap.
The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi.
That's true.
Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
She was with Ulysses.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those 2 were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
This is too easy.
Guys.
For a Danganronpa game, this is way too easy.
If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense.
And I think that makes sense. I think it is Diana who fled the boiler room. I do not think that she is the one who committed the crime. In fact, I think it's possible, not necessarily likely, but I think it's possible that she discovered the body and freaked out and ran. Now, why she would have taken her shoes off is another question.
Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa. I didn't even think of it like that. You're
Yeah?
totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels,
Really?
she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
I mean, she was one of the most sus from the beginning. I don't know that it's her,
The
though.
fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Right.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
Yeah, this is bad.
I do have an alibi.
Oh, do you, Diana?
Ava?
Huh?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
That's true.
Ava wanted to help me and Cass set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock.
Interesting.
I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi then.
Right. Okay, so she fled the scene, but we still don't even really know exactly how Wolfgang died, how the generator blew up. There's still questions. And then the door handle as well.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
I mean, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, Winona, come on. Catch on to what I'm feeling.
Are we sure there hasn't
Yeah,
been
Winona's
some
not
sort of
convinced.
misunderstanding?
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer.
Because the issue is, where did the blood come from? That's one issue. Just one.
No! I refuse to believe it!
Why, Toshi? What the frick is wrong with you? Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. I don't know. I still don't believe it. And I bet the bobby pin is going to be one of the clues, isn't it? Or not. Never mind. Blood spots?
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail?
Right.
'Cause
She'd
if
have to
so,
be.
That might be her blood on the knife, too.
It's possible.
Blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Wounded herself?
That's a
What makes
jump.
you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Right, we did.
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand, and the knife in the other.
No.
Wielding weapons? Holy, this killer's next level.
Huh. That person's point is clearly impossible. They should realize as much if I point out that piece of evidence. Thank you, Damon. That's very helpful.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
No.
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well,
Right.
maybe they had both. The
No.
rolling pin in one hand,
Oh, frick.
and the knife
Oops.
in the other.
Dual wielding weapons? Holy, this killer's next level.
I think
If it was Diana inside
maybe
that boiler
the steel rolling
could she
pin
be the-
against the dual wielding? I'm not sure.
Own weapon. rolling?
Okay, nice.
No,
Yeah, I wasn't really sure, but... How is he going to use this to disprove her about dual wielding?
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang.
Okay, how can we confirm this?
You can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge.
Oh.
The killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket.
Two handprints, not just one. Okay.
Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then
Yeah?
who held the knife?
Wolfgang.
It wasn't the killer. So it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room.
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Akire.
Right. Why he was holding it is the question.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang, carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
But also, when would he have gotten it is the question, because he would have had to have gotten it like the night before. He wouldn't have been able to get it beforehand, because people were already in the kitchen area setting up for the tournament. So when did the knife go missing?
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, it doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. You know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Right, but when?
Besides,
yeah, Winona's been
if
thinking.
Diana's the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process.
That's possible.
For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury.
Yeah, if she's... I mean, not that I want her to have to prove that, but...
But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course, that also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You don't see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
Huh?
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view.
Right.
After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Her talent would help with that. How did Diana hide her wounds? Diana's talent?
I got it.
Now.
Talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
Sure. It would depend on where she was wounded, though.
Makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
Oh, interesting.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Interesting. But could she do it so fast?
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
Really? It's as simple as this?
No. No. But I...
Wait.
What is it, Kai?
Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh, crap.
What?
You guys know what this means, right, guys? Diana
What is it, Kai?
Diana just?
Diana basically just confessed!
No. That does not mean she confessed. In fact, she could have... ooh, wait, this is the idea. Maybe she was injured by... So this goes back to what I was saying before. It's possible that she was injured by Wolfgang for whatever reason. Maybe he was trying to kill her. And maybe she was the one who ran away. Maybe. And then... But that doesn't mean she's the one who killed him. I think it's still totally possible that someone else... Oh, wait a second. I'm piecing something together. Hold on. So, this is my thought. it's possible that for whatever reason, Diana was injured by Wolfgang. Maybe Wolfgang was trying to kill her. Can't say for certain, don't really know. And she probably, well, she almost certainly was the person who was running past. With that being said, however, we know that the only other potential entrance into that room is the vent. If all it took was 2 sources of electricity to make water conductive, it's possible someone could have shot the taser through the vent, which they could have done. Wait, no, that's not possible. Frick. I was gonna say, which they could have done while everyone else had already left to go turn the lights back on, but we know he died when the lights turned off. So that doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm onto something, but I don't have all the pieces.
A confession? Are you for real?
No.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana
No.
got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang, which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she killed him.
I see. I see now what you're saying. Diana. She lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him.
I don't know about that.
Now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. How cruel!
I don't know.
Diana, it wasn't me. I promise. It wasn't me.
Okay, Diana, tell us your whole story then.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
Well, we don't know, though, is the thing.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
That's so fucked!
But there's still things that don't make sense. We don't understand why the cord is there. We still don't know how the generator blew up or was burned. And we still don't know the bobby pin. I mean, that was probably Diana. And then the door handle thing. Like, there's still clues.
Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
I agree.
Her side?
Yeah, let her explain herself.
You know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What
I agree.
does it matter what she says?
Because if you're wrong, you die. That's why.
Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed.
No,
We know who the killer is.
definitely not.
If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No.
No, no!
Vote. That's right, we have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the killer. No. I've proven it beyond a reasonable doubt, so
No.
it's not her. I really don't think it's her. This is a red herring. Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get the strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe that the things she's saying? Why all of a sudden do I doubt myself? Because it's not her. I just don't think it's her. It's too easy, you know what I mean? Taser gun, suspicious note.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I
wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote!
No, is Diana telling the truth? How is that possible when I already know the truth? It can't be possible, not unless.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room.
Maybe.
Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Oh.
And she fled the crime scene.
Well, that couldn't have been the
hoping
case,
rest
right?
Of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana?
The suspicious
Poor
note.
Wolfie
We
was
know it
only
wasn't
trying
immediate.
to-
Because it was later. There was a long time. There was a long time between the meeting time and the time of death. So, we're contradicting Grace here.
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick. What are we waiting for then?
Let's get this. Diana
Okay.
was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she told you immediately.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong.
That's not possible.
Hold on. Grace, you're overlooking a crucial detail.
Huh?
Do you recall the note I found in Wolfgang's blazer pocket? It asked him to meet in the boiler room at 8:15 a.m. But, according to the Tozu tablet, he died over an hour later at 9:35 a.m. That means Wolfgang didn't die right after he got to the boiler room.
What's your point?
My point is that the killer had no reason to lure Wolfgang to the boiler room and then wait over an hour to kill him. There's no guarantee another person won't enter the room during that time. It's in the killer's best interest to be in and out of there as fast as possible. When we originally discussed the note, we lacked the context to properly understand this time discrepancy. But if we go with your idea that Diana killed Wolfgang immediately, then that discrepancy becomes all too clear.
How do you know Wolfgang didn't just arrive late?
Based off of Toshiko's testimony?
He was already on his way when I ran into him at 8:10 a.m. He must have arrived on time.
Same goes for the killer. I doubt Wolfgang would stay in the boiler room for long if no one came to meet him. For that reason, we can assume Wolfgang was knocked unconscious soon after he arrived.
That's possible. Yeah, he could have been unconscious in the boiler room for a while.
But there's such a long period of time between him being knocked out and him being killed.
Right. I mean, we don't know that he would have been knocked out right away, though. Like, we don't have evidence to prove that he was knocked out right when he got there.
Unless you want to tell me he and Diana were in an hour-long struggle, then I'm sure there's more to the mystery here.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was such a good break. That was awesome, actually.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you see this is a trick? All of Diana's blubbering and crying is just a farce to make us think she's innocent.
Girl.
I wouldn't fall for a farce like that. My only concern is the evidence not adding up.
Right.
If you're still not convinced Diana is the killer, then let me show you something you overlooked. I call it undeniable fucking proof!
Okay, girl. What you got for us? I don't remember all the controls, but... Toshiko's? Oh, gosh.
I don't give a damn what Diana says! Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her?
Interesting. Grace seems to think she knows more about the crime scene than I do. But if that were true, she would have already realized the flaw in her argument.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one
doorknob.
person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her? I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her?
So not the boiler room doorknob.
I don't give a damn what Diana says.
Suspicious
Not
note?
only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How could the killer be anyone but her?
I'm a little confused. It's not the crime scene. Hold on.
Damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, her having no alibi is the reason.
Yeah, I'm a little
Give a
confused.
damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi,
Yeah.
the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died.
I'm confused.
How could the killer be anyone but her?
So it has to be. Oh, we just had to advance, I guess.
Diana lured Wolfgang downstairs. Why would she take over an hour to kill him?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Not when there's a risk of someone else entering the boiler room.
Right.
What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in because she could just lock the fucking door.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. No
Here we go.
intruders.
Got it.
Now take your argument and shove it up your ass.
She's funny, but I know what to do now.
What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in because she could just lock the fucking door.
I'll cut
Nope.
those words.
She could not. There we go, baby. Right.
The boiler room door can't be relied upon here. If Diana locked it, she would be trapping herself inside the boiler room.
What?
Right.
The doorknob has been flipped so that the keyhole faces inside, while the lock faces outside. Had you investigated the crime scene more closely, you might have realized this detail sooner.
Hooker.
In any case, locking the door would lock everyone inside the room.
Right.
Not outside. If Diana was the killer, she'd be better off leaving the door open.
How the
Right.
heck do you even flip a doorknob? Sounds like something only a tradesperson could do.
Meh. You don't think so?
No, it's not that
Swapping a
complicated.
doorknob is easy. Well, last time I did anything like it was a while ago, but everyone here knows knobs are screwable, right? If you get a screwdriver and know what you're doing, you can rotate the doorknob quick smart.
If you can swap a doorknob, then I guess anyone can.
Yeah.
Right on. Wait, are you saying that like it's a bad thing, or?
Is that why Diana remained in the boiler room after Wolfgang died? She had been locked inside?
Well, if she had been locked inside, she would have needed to be let out at some point because when they walked up to the door, it was already unlocked. So we didn't unlock the door to get in.
What do you make of the footsteps then?
Right.
If they were Diana's, it would imply she escaped the boiler room. How do you suppose she did that?
No, like, as we had surmised, it's more likely that someone locked Wolfgang in and then ran out. Later, for some reason. Diana's way of escaping the boiler room, huh? From the evidence in the boiler room, I'm fairly confident I can deduce a method. Of escaping the boiler room? From the evidence in the... This? Girl, I don't know. She definitely... Are we supposing that she left through the vent? This? No. I'm really not sure. We're gonna go with this. No. Girl, blackout. Frick, I have no idea what I'm doing. Blood spots? The doorknob? The extension cord? Like, I'm genuinely guessing. I don't know how else she would have escaped. This?
This is it.
Oh. Oh, she could have used it to unlock the door. I'm so stupid.
I discovered.
That's what it was. Why didn't I think of that?
At first glance, it didn't look important, but if you were to fold it in half,
It's a bobby pin.
It would look like a hairpin.
Ah, she used the classic maneuver.
I didn't even think about that.
It can be done. It just takes a bit of practice.
True.
Diana probably had this hairpin inside her makeup bag, so she used it to fiddle with the lock until it eventually came undone.
Okay.
Which, judging by the timing of her footsteps, happened late into the blackout.
So it took her a minute to unlock the door. The only issue that I'm having with this idea is, why is there blood pooled outside of the door, like in that one spot in the hallway? Like, if she just opened the door and then left, that doesn't seem to work for me.
Messing with a lock in pitch blackness. Whew. Now that would be impossible for me.
Well, I don't know about that, Miss Ingrid. You are a blacksmith.
Even if Diana did access light, like through the Tozy trinket, undoing the lock would still be difficult.
Sure.
It's way too difficult of a situation to deliberately put herself in.
Right, I agree. It's not... The whole situation is little... In which case, that can only mean one thing. Why could Diana not leave the boiler room? Someone else locked the door. Someone else blocked the door. A bucket was placed on the door was never locked.
We've got this all wrong.
If the door was never locked in the first...
Right, my bad. Someone else?
I got it.
Okay.
Someone else must have locked the door.
Yeah?
If we go off our current train of thought, the doorknob was rearranged so you could only lock it from the outside. It doesn't make sense for Diana to rearrange the lock, enter the room, and deliberately trap herself inside, which means someone else must have locked the door. I know this doesn't necessarily clear Diana's suspicion, but it's strange enough to warrant further investigation.
Right?
I'd rather resolve this thread before we move on to voting.
Agreed. We could easily miss something important if we turn our noses away.
So, why did this mystery person close the door in the first place?
That's a great question.
What if they saw the scuffle between Wolfie and Diana and closed the door to protect themselves?
Maybe?
Instead of seeking help? Or trying to stop the scuffle?
Yeah, to me this supposes that whoever closed the door is the culprit somehow. I'm thinking maybe they set up some type of mechanism that would cause the taser to go off. So I'm kind of disregarding the idea of someone shooting the taser through the vent. I'm disregarding that. I think it's possible that there was a mechanism already set in the boiler room. Somehow someone set this up. All they would need to do is that when Wolfgang walked in there... Ooh, wait, here's an idea. So maybe they had some type of mechanism. Wolfgang walked in, right? This person locked the door behind him. He saw, and like the mechanism tripped when he went to go mess with it, and he had to get in the water in order to do that. It's possible. I don't know for certain, though.
You say that like closing the door isn't exactly what you would do.
What kind of asshole do you take me for?
Any chance they locked it to prevent Diana from escaping?
And
That's an idea.
somehow unscrewed the doorknob without drawing attention to themselves?
Didn't you hear him? He's talking about the door being locked, not the doorknob being unscrewed.
True.
Unless two entirely different people just so happen to interfere with the boiler room at two entirely separate intervals. The one who locked the door is most likely the one who flipped it, yes?
I would agree, because yes, I agree with Winona, because they would have known about it, right?
Yes.
Then you should be wondering the same thing. How did they unscrew the doorknob without catching anyone's attention?
They could have done it at any time in the night.
Yeah, doesn't sound possible.
Well, if we presume that they did it during everything that was going on.
At the moment, it isn't. But what if the doorknob had been swapped beforehand?
I think we should presume that it
Say
was.
this person knew Wolfgang and Diana were coming to the boiler room. They could have swapped the knob in advance, waited for Diana and Wolfgang to enter.
That's an interesting idea. Oh, I see. Oh. Yeah?
And then closed and locked the door.
That's possible. And then Diana would have left. Oh, I think he's onto something. So okay, and this works with my theory. Maybe the person wasn't necessarily trying to kill Wolfgang specifically. Maybe the killer was okay with killing either Wolfgang or Diana. Locked them in the room. There was a contraption set. Somehow, I don't know how yet, but somehow the contraption goes off while Wolfgang's in the water. It electrifies him, causes the generator to blow up. Boom, it happens. While everyone in the game room is making their way down to the boiler room to search or down to the basement, Diana is working on the door to try and get out. In fact, this would be really smart on the killer's part, because if they lock both Diana and Wolfgang in there, and then everyone discovers Diana in the room with Wolfgang dead, that's like the perfect, you did it. You know what I mean? That's an idea. But the only way this works is if somehow someone other than Diana was able to set something up to kill Wolfgang or one of them without actually being in there, which is interesting.
So the flipping of the doorknob was premeditated?
Must have been.
We currently know. I'd wager it's our safest assumption. At least until we hear Diana's side of the story.
Yeah, she needs to just say what
Diana,
happened.
Since you were the last person with Wolfgang, your testimony could be our most valuable piece of evidence yet.
Yeah, if it wasn't you, just tell us what happened.
You need to tell me what happened. If not for me, or for you, then at the very least,
for
do
Wolfgang.
It for Wolfgang's sake.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm really
What happened? Girl, what happened?
I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay.
Okay.
All I could do was be useless.
Girl, what you mean by that?
All I could do was watch him die.
Okay, so she was... Oh, fetch. So she was in the boiler room and saw it happen? Does she think that somehow she killed him? If it wasn't her.
It's all my fault.
How?
All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
What you mean?
So is this a confession, or...
Yeah, girl, what, give us a little more than that.
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did. But
Okay.
I still failed him as a friend. I failed
Okay.
him then. And I failed him here.
Girl, I love the emotional moment for you, okay? In your character development. However, give us the information, please.
But if I told the truth, things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Girl, just tell the truth. Diana watched Wolfgang die? Okay, so this supports my theory that somehow something was set up to kill him.
It's okay, sweetheart. Come on now, take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
That's nice, Kai. It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still hasn't gone away. What am I doing? Because of one girl, I've been doubting myself and jumping from one argument to another. If I can't piece together my own thoughts, how can I possibly piece together this case? I need to get a grip on myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to persevere. Because if I don't, if everyone else here votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive. Yeah. Are we hitting an intermission? That's my guess.
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy? Perhaps you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself.
That's probably what we'll do.
Something like a nice cup of tea.
That's nice, Tozu.
Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Tozu's Tea Time.
That's nice, you little freak.
If you haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip.
Sounds like a you thing on the daily.
Now,
not using your
question from me
brain.
to you. What are sheep good at, if anything?
Flocking.
Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding absolutely nothing.
Sheep flock together.
Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music.
Well,
Their
true.
limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags.
Okay.
I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus,
Valid.
what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same. That they can be so determined to prove their worth when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals.
This is a little depressing.
Isn't that something admirable?
Sure.
What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided.
Oh, Wolfgang?
It seems that's about all the time we have.
Interesting.
Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson.
I don't get the reference, but cool.
Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea.
What the hell?
Tozo?
I do like Tozu, though. He's funny.
Diana, now's your chance to defend yourself.
I think we're gonna stop here. I don't know if it's going to hit a like an intermission. That kind of felt like an intermission, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and stop here. I will be continuing this hopefully very, very soon, and finishing the trial is the goal. I've been going for a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so. I don't really know how much is left. Like I said, Weeby News, when she played this, or they played this, she went for like 7 hours. So I'm hoping I don't have to split this up into 3 parts. I'd like to finish it next time if I can. But we will have to see. Like I said, for now I'm going to go ahead and save. And we're going to end here. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I do not think it's her. I really think it's someone else. And the thing is, everyone else technically has an alibi. But if I were to put it on anyone other than Diana, there are 2 people that come to mind. And that is Ingrid and Toshiko. The reason I'm thinking of them is, well, there's a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason is because with Eloise, Desmond, Ulysses, and Winona all out in the other buildings, right? They can vouch for each other, all 4 of them. You know what I mean? Like, if Winona or Ulysses had gone back into the building, Eloise and Desmond would have noticed. You know what I mean? And so, the other way around, I guess I don't know. But it's possible that for whatever reason, Toshiko and Ingrid are working together. I don't know why they would do that, but if some trap was rigged, Toshiko is the only one that we know of that actually went to the pharmacy and then came back to this building, meaning there could have been the necessary whatever to rig something that would create an electrical charge. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Though I don't know why Ingrid or Toshiko would do anything like that. They're the only ones that I can even plausibly make sense of. If it wasn't Diana. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens. But thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The next one, hopefully, we will finish the trial. If we don't, then the trial will be split into 3 parts. We'll see what happens. But thank you all so, so much for watching, and I will see you. Oh, remember, have courage and be kind. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.